My next video in the piece discussion series it says it's the finale, but it isn't. It's actually my overture. It was originally my finale, and I composed everything, and I was happy with it. And then I went back into my notes on classical form and had a look at a little bit deeper into what the finale needed in terms of its structure. And I realised that I'd not stuck to the structure that it should have been, and that it actually fit much more closely with an overture, not just in the fact that it's reusing themes from previous pieces, but it's also got that slow, fast, slow element of the overtures that you can use. So there's two different styles of overture. There's fast, slow, fast, or slow, fast, slow. And this is the slow, fast, slow is what I went for. So we start off at 89 BPM in 6/8, and we're in the key of E minor. And this first section is a reintroduction of the Winterborn View verse theme. So we'll play that quickly. So not much changes other than the key. And the bass line's a little bit busier. And then we move into the chorus of Winterborn View. We've also got a guitar line reinforcing those bass notes. And then here at 33, we transition into the start of the not the Soundgarden experiment, the Soundscape experiment with those delay trails. Again in a different key here. So we've moved this up a fifth. To A minor. Got a bit of a build here. And then we're into the back half of the Baker Street Pubs, again in a different key. Move this up from F to G sharp. Change this chord progression a little bit, adding some more melody notes in there. And the whole purpose of this first section was to slowly start speeding up the piece, reintroducing these melodies that are very calm and easy to listen to, and just sort of reminding ourselves of the journey that we've been on through the symphony. Obviously this was when it was the finale section, so here we're actually introducing these themes that people are going to be hearing throughout the symphony. We're getting them acquainted with these melodic ideas and these techniques that I was using, and then when they hear it during the symphony, it'll register that, oh, I've heard that before, but it sounds a little bit different. There's a bit of variation in there. So we get to here, bar 68, and we introduce one of the themes from movement 1. We introduce the progressive theme, which is the piece that sounded like a blend between Coheed and Cambria and Thin Lizzy, and obviously this piece has surfaced a number of times throughout the symphony in different keys, so I wanted to do that again. So we've put it in E this time, And again, it's very similar to the rest of the iterations of it. Not really much change. But I just wanted to put that in as it's such a melodic melody. It's so catchy, and it's something that obviously it occurs several times throughout the symphony. So it's nice to sort of introduce people to it early. And then here we move into a section that is brand new. And what I wanted to do here was really encapsulate that fast section of the overture. So introduce something that was really fast. As you can see, we shift up to 170 BPM, so it's very, very fast. And I wanted to really channel early sort of Metallica, that very thrashy sound that they used on their first couple of records before they did the Black album, that were quite fast paced and aggressive. So we'll just give you a little listen to that so you can hear the first section of it. And you can hear there that at the end, this little bit in bar 90 and 91. It's a chromatic run. It's moving chromatically downwards a semitone at a time. And the reason I used that was, again, it's that Metallica sort of atmosphere. They use it in songs such as Master of Puppets, Hardwired to Self-Destruct off their last album, and it's a very effective way of writing riffs that sound aggressive but are actually very simple. So this repeats again here. And what I like here is obviously the guitar part is still quite simple. It's all centered. It's all very, very E. Obviously, it's all fifth chords. I would say it's definitely got a minor sound. But the drums have a sort of staggered feel to them, which I really like. I'm just going to quickly check whether we've got the kit soloed. Yep, there we go. What you'd expect with those two groupings of double kick is I would really normally expect a snare to be in the middle of them. So so you'd probably have a snare in there with the hi-hat. But the reason it's not done that is I actually synced the drums up to follow these guitar tracks, these three here, to follow the rhythm of them. So you can hear that. But that adds a little bit of a staggered feel with missing that snare hit. Everyone's expecting that snare hit on that beat, and it doesn't come. And it gives this staggered feel, this sort of frantic feel to the piece, which I really think works well. So we'll keep listening on, because there's one more little riff in this section. As you can hear there as well, we start to bring in some extra sort of triplets on the low E. And that's again another really typical thing that Metallica do. They'll start playing it ever so straight, and then they'll start adding in these little triplet chugs to add some rhythmic variety. And then we move into the section at bar 116, and this is really taking that chromatic idea again. and trying to create a melody out of that. And again, we've got that frantic feel in the drums where it's missing a snare beat that you'd expect. Again, adding that bit of tension, I guess. It adds a bit of tension and drama to the piece. And then here we're into a section from the Soundgarden piece from movement 3. So we've slowed down again a little bit here, back to 1/4/2, so we're into more reasonable realms of tempo. And it's that same chord progression again, that 1/6/3/2. And then we turn it around there. So we'll play all those together because you can hear the lead parts as well, what we've got in there. So that's actually making chords and varying the harmony note, which is why when the two are played together, it sounds like there's two separate rhythms going on. And obviously you'll also notice that we've moved into 6/8 here as well, so it's got that nice swing. And then what we've got here is a little break before we move into the final section of Winterborn View, before it moves into the finger-picked part. So it's like the outro of the main section of that song. And that's what we finish off the overture with. And the reason I put that in is because it's got that really important melody that I've talked about in previous videos. That 3-note melody. Ba-da-da. Which I used in several pieces. And it was actually something that I came up with in Winterborn View, and it just started appearing all over the place, not even particularly intentionally. And I realised that, and then started thinking, well, okay, how can I actually form this into being a cohesive idea, and actually that motif being important? And that's why we popped that in here. As well, I also want to point out these 3 guitar tracks, which plays that end section of Winterborn View a bit straighter, really. And we also move to we change up the rhythm at the end section of it, which was much slower and much more swung. It's a lot straighter now. 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. It's got really straight feel. It's very aggressive. And that's just building the tension, and then you release it with that open E chord there, E minor chord, to end the piece. We've got some staggered drums there again, with those little double kick patterns. as you can see, the drums are playing it really, really straight. There's no swing in there at all, which is why I wrote those guitar parts to do the same thing. So yeah, that's the overture. And like I said, it was an attempt to use these important themes that I felt were well crafted and had an important place within the symphony. It was a chance to experiment with them and use them in different keys and different swing variants and rhythmic passages, and just play around with them a bit and try and create something that opens up the entire body of work, and gets the listener familiar with key melodies that they're going to be hearing throughout the actual symphony. So we've only got one more video of these to go, and that is the actual finale, which I obviously rewrote after deciding this was an overture. So I will talk about what the difference is between this and that, and why the other piece suits the finale much better, in the next video. Cheers.